Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Thursday night. It's Across the Infield. I am your host, Chris, and we are on MaxSpeedTV. Across the Infield. Let us all take a look at the previous week of racing here on MaxSpeedTV. We invite league owners, drivers, sponsors, or whoever else might be interested to stop on by and join us on Across the Infield. Tonight looks like it's going to be a quick one, as I've got one racer. He's from Racing for a Cause, and he happened to win last night's race, a good race, in the super late models. Racing for a Cause's own Ryan Nolan. Ryan, how you doing?
Good. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a good night last night, so I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, it was a fun race to watch. A little bit of a rough start, but once the guys kind of figured out what they were doing, those super late models, not on a short track for the first time in the season, boy, that was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feel. I've actually never run a late model or a super late model on any track bigger than it seems like a half mile in the game, or in the simulation. Sorry, let me correct myself. But,
yeah, gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, some people get real offended, but yeah, I think iRacing's done a great job with these super late models. Seems like the last builds, they've gotten the realism really really good, and they actually drive kind of more like the real deal, I think.
Yeah, well, because I've gotten to know you over the last year and a half, or has it even been? It might have been longer. I know that at one point you strapped into a real race car. Why don't you give us your experience there?
Yeah, I've been really lucky to have that experience. It took a lot of sacrifices from my family and friends. Everyone kind of pitched in, and we started off in a small four-cylinder street stock. I think it was actually back in 2001 when I first drove. I was 14 in a little Chevy Chevette. Not the fastest car, but it was something that got me out into racing in real life, and it was pretty cool. Then we moved to four-cylinder street stocks at Thunder Road, and had some success there. We ended up winning the Tri-State Street Stock Championship, which is only a 3-race series, but it's still pretty cool. Won the Street Stock Milk Bowl in that year, and then we moved to the Flying Tiger division, the V8 cars, and really struggled pretty bad the first year, my rookie year, and then second year we had more success and won some races. And then we moved to the ACT late models and ran in a pretty old car against guys that had new equipment, and again struggled our rookie year a little bit. And then following, I don't know, I think 4 years, we ran the touring series and had some good races, won an ACT race, and then won another 4 races at other tracks with the late model. So that was a huge part of my life, and really good experience. So it's nice to be able to do this with iRacing and not have all the money being shelled out and the time being shelled out. So it's been fun.
Yeah, well, it certainly is a little less expensive than the real deal. And do you feel that the on track in real life versus the on track in the sim correlate pretty well?
I think it does. I mean, there are some differences, but I think racecraft and learning to be patient and learning to save your equipment and save your tires, I think that all translate the same way in real life. And honestly, I would really like to try it again in real life, and just with the past few years of iRacing, I think iRacing's even kind of taught me some things that would help me in real life. So I've always been kind of curious to see how I'd be if we gave it another shot.
Well, Thunder Road's calling your name, bud, and that's one of the cool things people don't know maybe about you and I is we actually live in the same town, although we've never met in person. So that's pretty cool, and we really need to fix that. But yeah, Thunder Road, it's only about an hour away. Like, you only need a car now.
Yeah, I think we should arrange up arrange a meetup at some point. Maybe make a trip to Thunder Road. Me and my wife went last year, I think, for the first time, and oh boy, I think it was 10 years since I've been to Thunder Road. It was one of those deals where, like, once you leave, it's hard to go back without driving. That was real hard for me at other tracks. So yeah, we just kind of took our little bit of time away, but it was nice to go back and to see the racing and how much things have changed, and they've really done a good job with Thunder Road.
All right. Well, I think first of all, thank you again for coming out tonight. It is just you and I, so this is going to be a very, very quick. Just a couple of very off the cuff kind of questions here. As far as your hardware that you actually use for the sim, why don't you tell people what you're using? What kind of wheel, pedals, shifter? Are you using VR, stuff like that?
Oh boy. So I found my setup in the trash. It was actually in the dumpster at the University of Kentucky. I don't know why they threw it out, but I was like, look at that. It looks pretty good. And I hadn't raced in years, so I picked up this nice G27. I think it's Logitech. Yep, G27. That's what I've been using for the past 3 years now. I run a single monitor. No VR for me, although I'd love to try it. I feel like there's some situations where it could be helpful, like restarts and being able to see the car next to you. I've got a really bad graphics card. I think it's a GTX 650.
Wow.
Definitely needs some updating. Yeah, last night's race is like 50 frames a second, but
wow.
But yeah, that's kind of my setup. I've got a desk. It's just a plain IKEA desk that I hook the steering wheel on when I race, and I just take it off when I don't race. So it's not really a gaming rig. I've got just a swivel office chair on some carpet on the wood floor. So sometimes I roll backwards, but I try to chalk the wheels with something if I can. But yeah, your pretty standard, cheap, basic setup.
Well, that's absolutely the perfect answer, and the reason why is the very first week that I started doing the show here on MaxSpeedTV, I had mentioned, is spending thousands of dollars on equipment really worth it? And I know you have a pretty decent winning percentage, at least in the league. I don't know officially, I've never looked, but at least in the league racing, you're always up front, and there you are, a self-admitted horrible graphics card, a literal dumpster dive for the computer itself, an old G27, which, by the way, I still think is probably one of the better wheels out there, even if it is inexpensive comparatively. Single monitor, you're running Ray Alfala style.
Yeah, it seems to work for me. I can't complain too much, although a couple of years ago, you guys probably remember when I was having all the dropouts. I was running on over Wi-Fi, and when my wife she'd make popcorn and it was interfering with the Wi-Fi. So I've upgraded to I've got a direct Ethernet connection now, so it makes a world of a difference.
It does make a big difference. Everybody needs to know that. Do not use Wi-Fi and play any game, let alone a sim. It makes a huge difference. All right. Hey, I really hate to call this one the end, but it is, Ryan. Do you have anything else that you want to throw out there? Something about the league, something about yourself personally, anything at all? Floor is open.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys. I think Race for a Cause, I've been with you guys, I think, towards the beginning, probably 2 years ago, running the late models, and all is very accommodating. There's been a lot of different offshoots from that, but the core guys are still here, and I think it's pretty awesome how long you've been putting this on and putting on racing and hosting races and even broadcasting it. It's been pretty cool to be a part of that. And I got to thank you guys and Andy and everyone. So just look forward to more racing.
Oh, obviously, don't forget to thank your better half either, because without their support,
Oh yeah, she's staring at me right now. I gotta thank my wife, Gokche. She's always been here, supporting. So definitely takes a good partner and to allow you to race.
Absolutely. And everything. So, all right, right. Well, again, thanks very much for coming out. And guys, we're going to call that the show. And if you want to come out, again, just shoot us a message here on MaxSpeed TV, either through the Facebook site or even during one of these shows. Even after the show, we'll see the message. And come on out across the infield. And that's going to do it for tonight. Have a good one.